Hi, today we're talking about the law of sines and law of cosines. So here are the formulas for the law of sines and law of cosines. So these are all a ratio like that, and then these are really fancy. But if you memorize one, the rest goes, because it's always the side opposite goes with it. So like sine of A goes with A, so this sine of A goes with this A. Sine of B goes with B, the opposite side. These are always opposites. Same with this one, A goes with A, B goes with B, C goes with C. And this is basically like a fancy Pythagorean theorem. That's all it is. So let's take a look at this guy. So it says use the law of sines to find the missing side. So what we got to do is we are going to find, actually I think we're going to find both sides. We're going to find this side and this side. So, but before we can do that, we need to find a ratio where we got numbers opposite from each other. Because right now we got 38, doesn't go with that one. 54 doesn't go with that one, we don't know. But we can find the degree right here because triangles add up to 180. So if you go 180 minus those two, you get 88 degrees. Now we have a connection, an opposite, which is what we're looking for. So we're going to first find x. So sine of 88 over 15 equals sine of 54, because we're trying to find x, over x. Now, you can rewrite this. So there's a few tricks you can do to rewrite things and solve for x, because I like to just type in the calculator once. What you do is you can switch the x and the sign here. And then the 15 you can just move next to the top here. So, and basically that's it. So if you type that in the calculator as is, you get 12.14. That's all you do. So y is very similar. We're going to use our known ratio, which is sine of 88 over 15 equals sine of 38 over y. We can rewrite it. 15 sine of 38 over sine of 88. And then you solve that in the calculator, you get 9.24. That's all there is to it. Go ahead and try this problem. Okay, so we're going to use the law of sines to find a missing angle this time. So we just found out how to find a side. Let's find an angle. So the angle we're trying to find is right here. We know that one goes with 7. And we have a known connection right here, known ratio. So sine of 122 over 14 equals sine of A over 7. And now we're going to rewrite this and solve for sine. Well, it's easy. We just put 7 next to here. So we multiply both sides by 7. So this will reduce to 2. So sine of 122 over 2 equals sine of A. Now, we can plug this in the calculator, get a decimal, and then go, but I prefer to type it in all at once. So we do the sine inverse of sine of 122 divided by 2. And that will give us our answer, which ends up being 25.1 degrees. Go ahead and try this problem. Okay, there is an ambiguous case. So what that means is sometimes you don't know which way it goes. So we know if we have a triangle like this, and we're trying to find this side, it could be inward also. We're not sure if it's outside or inside. It's a very specific case. Just be aware of it. Just to show you what it is, just to give you an idea, is if I did, let's see, let's set this up real quick. So this is 30 degrees. This side is 6, and this side is 8. So we're trying to find this angle here, which we'll call E. We'll call this one C, this one D. So what we're going to do is if we do sine of 30 over 6, because mind you, this could be 6 too. And then sine of E over 8. If we solve this like normal, we get an angle of 41.8. which will be this angle right here, would be 41.8. But because it could also be this angle, and the reason why it has to do with a check that you do, but don't worry about it too much. So I got 41.8. To find the other one, you just subtract it from 180, so 138.2. I'm going to try to avoid these, by the way, for this class. All right, let's talk about law of cosines, just to find a missing side. This one's my favorite. I like this. So we're going to find this side. I'm going to call it A because it's across from A. So we're going to go A squared equals, now this is B and this is C. So 300 squared plus 200 squared minus 2 times 300 times 200 cosine of 80. So we just plug that in, and now we just plug it all in the calculator. So if we do all of this, me personally, the way I like to plug it in, I like to put the square root button and then type all of this into it. That's what I like to do. So if you plug this all in, you get a side of 330.4 feet. What you end up with. Go ahead and try this one. Now, to find a missing angle with law of cosines is actually kind of annoying, but it's all right. So what you do is we're going to try to find B here. So we know 9.2 is the other B. So we go 9.2 on the outside squared equals 23.6 squared plus 18 squared minus 2 times 23.6 times 18 cosine of B, what we're trying to find. So you just plug this all in the calculator, and basically what you get is 20.4 degrees. Go ahead and try this problem. Okay, here's our final example for law of sines and cosines. So basically, it says a wire that's 5.3 meters long is the top of a flagpole that leans to the left in a strong wind. So we got a flagpole that leans, I'm exaggerating. We have a wire that is 5.3 meters. And it says the wire is anchored to the ground at 1.2 meters from there, and it forms a 68 degrees with the ground. So the question is, what angle does the wire form with the top of the flagpole? So this is the angle we're trying to find. So to find this angle, we have a ratio here with law of sines, if we can find what that is. So what we're trying to find is sine of that angle, I'm going to call it x, call this x, over 1.2. But we need to find one of the sides so we can get another ratio, a known ratio. Well, right here, what we got is we have two sides, we have an angle. So that means we can find this side. I'm going to call it h. We can find that side because we have this relationship. So we're going to use law of cosine for this one. So h squared equals 5.3 squared plus 1.2 squared minus 2 times 5.3 times 1.2 cosine of 68. So you type that in the calculator, find it all, and you get h equals 4.98. So this is 4.98. So now that we have that, we have our known ratio, which is sine of 68 over 4.98. And we solve that like normal, and we get our x is 12.9 degrees.